This is Kennox moss, not far from Auchentibber and Bloke moss in North Ayrshire. These lands of Kennox were held for many years by the Somerville McAllister family, who were Jacobites. They'd married into the Somerville family and held these lands for many years. Kennox House is in the woods in the distance. Over here, by these beech trees, is the site of Galloway Ford, said to be where the Gallows were. This area, now very wet, dominated by these tussock grass and by rushes. May have been somewhat dry at one point, being drained for agriculture when labour was cheaper and it was easier and more worthwhile. What we have here in the middle of this area is a strange raised up area, an island in this wetland. Clearly the edge is dry stone diked, though it's not known when that was done. And there may be a connection with Galloway Ford. Malcolm Canmore and his Queen Margaret, were responsible for introducing, or beginning to introduce, the feudal system into Scotland. And one of those moves was to introduce barony courts, whereby every local laird had to construct a moot hill, a justice hill, or a court hill, and a gallows hill. They held their own courts. They had the right of pit and gallows up until about 1747, when the power was finally revoked. The pit was the wetland area, a hole, whatever, a pit where women were drowned. Didn't seem seemly to hang women, whilst men were hung at the gallows. So the lairds had this power of pit and gallows. So Galloway Ford, not far away, it's just possible that this is the court hill, the place where the court met, and where the dempster, the person who pronounced the sentence, the dempster's doom. It is rather a large structure for a Gallow Hill, Moot Hill, but they're often recycled from a previous function. This may have been some sort of raised farmstead in the distant past. Doesn't appear to be marked or identified by the Royal Commission. It does seem to be a bit of a lost site. Area here of Bloke Head. In the distance there was once a wee village, Bloke Village, now completely gone. The last remnant was the school building that survived. In fact, there's even a book surviving of one of the school children's with the name Bloke School on it. This is the Glazet water running down at Galloway Ford. The bridge in the distance has replaced the ford. This may be the old lane here, which means this may well have been the site of the ford itself, and the gallows would have stood somewhere nearby. The Glazet runs on through the Kennox estate, eventually joins with the Annick water in Strathannick at water meetings. There was another farm here at one time, just in the distance behind the trees, now completely gone. And up in this hill here at one time there was a burial site, a cairn, now quarried out. And in the distance is the site of what may have been the Moot Hill where the moot court met and judgments were made. This may be the site here where men were hung, whilst women were drowned in a pit or drowned in the water of the Kennox moss.